Don't you hate it when you go to Kentucky for just a few days over Thanksgiving, and while you're gone, your friends have all sorts of fun without you, and then they keep referring back to it? So whenever you're like, when did that happen? They're like, oh, you were in Kentucky, and then you feel like a loser, and then they keep saying other stuff and say that they were doing it while you were in Kentucky, but they're actually just making it up to make you jealous, but you believe them because you're gullible? Don't you hate it when every day after school, your friends take the hand sanitizer that's right outside the cafeteria, and it looks like mashed potatoes, and it feels disgusting on your skin, and they take it and they put it on your arms and on your face and on other random parts of your body, and then sometimes they put it on your locker or on your locker combination, so when you go to do your locker combination, it gets all over your hands? Don't you hate high school relationships and how people are like, oh my word, we are so in love, and it's been like a week and I know he's the one, and then they go on Facebook and they're like, oh my word, I'm so in love, I gotta update my status, and then like 6 days later they break up and they're like, oh my word, we were so in love, I hate him, and you're like, wow, that was hardcore. Don't you hate it when you use a quote from something that everybody's seen in an everyday conversation and your friend's like, what are you talking about? Like one time I was like, my dad's not a cell phone, duh, and my friend was like, what does my dad have to do with it? You're stupid. And then you're like, SNL. Don't you hate it how nails are all the color of carpet? Yeah, because one time I took a frame down and the nail fell out, and I was like, no big deal, I'll just find it. But I had to be careful because I didn't want to impale my feet or legs with the nail. So I was looking all over for it and I couldn't find it because it was the color of the carpet. Yeah, stupid. And don't you hate it when you're home alone because your whole family is out eating food at grandma's house, but you can't come because you're sick and they don't want grandma to get sick too? Whatever. And somebody comes to the door and rings the doorbell, and you're like, hello? And it's this awkward creeper guy, and he's like, are your parents home? And you're like, I don't want to answer that question, but you have to, because you're not a liar. At least I'm not. So I'm like, no. And then he's all like, here, have this, and have a great evening. And then you're like, what the? I don't want to vote for you, Brad Rogers, for sheriff. What? You don't even look like you would want to help me. You'd probably hurt me. You'd probably pull me over for speeding, and then I would get a ticket, and then my insurance would go up really high. That's why I'm not going to vote for you, Brad Rogers, for sheriff. That's what I hate.